Welcome. So thank you for tuning in. Here we have today a very special knife that I was waiting for that totally caught me off guard when I got it. And you can see it's not these right here, and it's not this one. It's this odd looking one that I think I've never seen, and it's really interesting. And you can see here's some kind of like size comparisons. This is these two are by Warren Thomas. If you guys are unfamiliar with his work, I will soon be doing a lot of videos testing and showing the features and the sort of like the technology that goes behind his, as you can say, his design methods, the materials he uses. And what he's famous for, of course, is using titanium combined with a carbide edge to create a really high performance cutting edge. So this is the standard credit card knife, and this one's not mine. I'm gonna be using this, I'm gonna be putting this on the website. But this one is, and well, just for size comparison, let's see if I can get something. Nope. Oh, it is the size of a card. You see. Here's the other one. Let me get out the card. Okay, that's my credit card. Oh, I wouldn't want to use my credit card. Oh, here. Here's now the medical insurance. You see here, smaller. You can see the difference between the two. Okay, if I can carefully do this. Okay. So, yeah, you know, I'm into a lot of the tactical knives and accessories, or anything that can be used to, you know, for self-defense. You know, Mel, she got one of these. These are available through Japan, dealers in Japan. It's like an exclusive. For people who don't know, Warren Thomas he has a background in learning Japanese sword fighting, those kind of things, and so he has a large following in Japan. And so I had to get this one you know, under special circumstances. So you can see here some other knives that we all are familiar with. The credit card knife, you can see here. You know, military too. Okay, and then of course the small Sebenza. Let's see. Okay, so you kind of get the idea of the shape. Now, and here's of course my favorite one. So let's see. Okay, so now we have the credit card knife. The standard is a one that you can use. This actually, I told him I thought this is like for your fingers maybe or something, you know, and he was like, no, that's actually a bottle cap opener. But regardless, you know, some of the things is, of course, it has his anodizing, which is he's famous for, and this is actually called, he calls it Urban Camo. So for anyone who wants to know, that's direct from him. Urban Camo is what he always thought of it as. And you can see he did bevel and round off all the outer edges and corners so that they're nice and, you know, not too scratchy, except for these edges right here. You can see there's a chisel grind, of course, you know, and then there's the tungsten carbide. Now, tool steels can be made of pretty much two, how do you say, either out of molybdenum, which is like you would see an M4, you know, those kind of steels, you know, that's what the M is for, or you can be made out of a T for tungsten. But it's just, I think that what happens is molybdenum is just more readily available. But what happens is then this is electrically, how do you say, fused on. And what happens is that it creates an HRC. Normally titanium is soft, and that's true because I've had credit card knives. I should have brought it. I have a credit card knife that's just by, I think, Nemesis knives. That is just titanium, and it takes a really soft razor-like edge that you can shave with, but it loses it really fast too, like after one shaving. So it doesn't necessarily change that there is a soft titanium thin edge there, but what it does do is it creates a tungsten coated layer that kind of is in between. You can see basically, if you see this is a flat tungsten surface, that basically then is the cutting edge. That's a thin edge of tool steel that has the HRC, according to Mr. Thomas, of 80. And the next step highest would be a diamond sharpener, or a diamond, so it would be 90. So this is as pretty much the hardest edge you can get. Now I know like Strider's working on nitinol, and you know, titanium metal that can have an actual hardness all throughout its composition of 60 HRC. But this, you know, this won't have that. I mean, but you're looking at just the edge then, which I would say is probably where it's most important. You have 80 HRC. So I don't think nitinol fully, I say, just removes Mr. Thomas's contribution, and this is still probably my preferred way of having a titanium blade, because this is now completely rust free, you know, especially on his folding knives, which I'll be talking about later on. But you can see here, so this, you know, actually I got turned on to Warren Thomas by another YouTuber, Oramoto, who had showed me these things, and showed me his folders, and I was like, man, kind of sparked my interest. And after talking to Mr. Thomas, you know, I was like, whoa, it's really interesting. So this is how you know, you could use it this way. You pull it out of your, you know, your wallet. It'll cut. You know, it doesn't. He says the best way to sharpen it is, you can see there's actually just a small micro bevel. You can't even see the reflective edge. The secondary bevel. If this is the primary bevel right here, the secondary bevel is barely visible to the eye. Actually, I can't even see it. See if I can get it. But he says a medium diamond rod is what he suggests to sharpen it, and it'll get a really toothy cutting edge that'll last. And he's saying that they've done tests where, like, and I will do tests too, but the claim is that it's the only knife that could keep cutting through like a Kevlar vest and keep going. And that makes sense, because I mean, it can never really dull. I mean, this side might dull, but if you see my videos where a dull edge can do really well outdoors, I mean, the edge, as this titanium rolls and moves aside, you still have this razor thin edge of tool steel. So technically speaking, yeah, it's a knife that you really wouldn't have to sharpen to do like more serious cutting tasks. And when it comes to like razor edges, we have to see. So let me see if it can do like a razor cutting edge. Let's see if it can slice through phone book paper at least. I can get a cut. You know, so oh, that's good. See, let's see. The camera. So it can make the cut. See? So, yeah, not too bad. So you do that, you can get through normal paper. So, now that's not the star of the show, but that is something that's available to us here in the United States. Now this is awesome. Definitely unpacking this. This goes, now I mean, this can definitely border on not being legal, depending on where you live, because it, to me, kind of is basically a brass knuckle of some sort, a punching implement. You can see the difference now in its grinds, and you can just automatically, when you hold it, there's a whole different function in mind. I mean, of course, this the same thing. Mr. Thomas has gone in there and carefully beveled all of the corners. You see the machining is very, very nice. It's really awesome work, and like I said, there's a lot behind the man, and you know, I really respect him, because he really at this point I can say, like, you know, he's just one of those people that understand people and life and surviving and work, and he understands, and he's pretty cool. I mean, it just I am honored to be able to work with him and be able to carry his products. His Warren Thomas signature. This one has, you can see, like a kind of a hole for, I'm assuming that's for a lanyard of some sort. And you can see how it fits in the hand, and it's self-explanatory. I just want to show this, because I've never seen such a thing. Same thing, those two edges. I mean, you can cut, this is simple enough for utility tasks. You know, we were using it to cut the bubble wrap when we were packaging stuff today. Same thing, titanium on it. Same function here, sharp edges, but you can use this for, I mean, even these sharp edges, regardless, as you use it, they'll lose their edge, just like any steel can, and eventually it'll smooth out a little bit, so I'm not that. You know, I can understand that in a punchy situation, as it pushes against your knuckle, it perhaps might probably create a cut, but thankfully there's, you know, that's not, shouldn't be too bad, especially if you grip it, you know, you have your thumb and you have this knuckle and you have, say, in your palm. There shouldn't be too much pressure on it. But maybe perhaps it was meant for someone with gloves. But regardless, it's definitely a nice implement to have. I mean, if you swing at somebody and you miss, you know, and if you swing at somebody and it's not a direct impact, it's much better to have than not. And with the possibility of having an edge that can survive and continuously do cutting at the level of a tool steel, which I'm going to test. I don't want to test this one, because this is safe. This one's going in my wallet. You know, it has a lot of potential that perhaps later on we can figure out together. So just wanted to show it. So these are exclusive. Can't really get them in the United States. So you can see It's one of my favorites. This is definitely one of my favorites. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that Mr. Thomas makes this stuff out of function. When I first saw them, you know, they kind of just passed over. You know, some of the design, some of the, you know, the coloring, the everything about it kind of, you know, maybe perhaps I didn't understand. But as I've done these tests and starting to understand, when we're talking performance, what you're looking for, and whether a survival knife or even EDC, you're looking for low maintenance, and you're looking for, of course, a cutting edge that can just keep cutting, especially in a survival setting, one that you wouldn't have to sharpen as much, one that gives you high performance. You know what I mean? And you look at that aspect, those aspects, and then that's when you realize Warren Thomas stuff is no joke. You know, if you think about it. I mean, titanium is tougher than steel, 4 times. So I mean, it's much more resilient to any types of breaking. It'll bend first, and that's what you want in a fixed blade outdoors. And that's why they even have titanium pry bars, you know, because they're lightweight, and that's another aspect. I mean, all these things come into play, and honestly, one of the best answers for those, all those things, is a Warren Thomas creation. So let's see, put this here. I know that this is rare, but if you can never find one, it's awesome. You got to get it. You know, if you can get it, it is well worth purchasing or finding and acquiring it. It's awesome. So here we go.